Hey, what's going on? Today, I wanted to address something that I learned. I can't take credit for it, but I learned a term back in March this year, maybe April, and it was a real estate class that I took, and it talked about real estate being a marathon sprint. And people said, you need to have patience in real estate. You need to take it day by day. Well, the truth of the matter is, you're building for the marathon that you're going to run because it doesn't just happen overnight. Life changing money, life changing business ownership doesn't happen overnight. It's a marathon sprint. So, what we mean by that, let me give you an example. My sister, she's training, I think she's training for a full marathon. It could be a half marathon now, but my sister's doing that. She gets up really early. She runs every morning and trains for that marathon. And so she's working hard, but she knows that she can't run the marathon tomorrow if it came. She's starting 6 months out. She's training for that marathon. What does that mean as it relates to real estate? It means that every day that you get up, you need to have a sense of urgency in what you're doing, and it needs to be a sprint. So in my life right now, my my work is very important, and I have things set up in my business that help me get excited every day. I think I made a video about being excited and why that's important. Even though I think when I was out door knocking, I didn't have any success that day. The reason why I reference that is because you need to have things in your business that get you excited. So, what I have in my business is what's called a pipeline spreadsheet. And that pipeline lists out every lead that looks like it's going to generate income for me. And then I put a value on that lead. I make sure that that lead has some sort of monetary value as to why I'm even spending time looking at them. So when they're on that spreadsheet, it becomes real to me that I need to be focusing on those people and turn them into an income opportunity. Um, but every morning I get up and I'm excited because I know what I'm trying to do that day. Some of you may even plan your day the night before or at the end of your business day before. I haven't really reached that level of discipline yet. But every morning I have a call with my business partner and we go over all the contracts that I have pending. And we go through all the details and we hit them. And it's early, so we can get ahead of the game early. Now, it's just easier to do early in the morning than it is at the end of your business day when kids and everything else is demanding you to go do other things. So that's why we do it in the morning. But my marathon is huge. Okay, I know where I'm going. So you have to think about, if you're thinking about um, running the race of real estate. I posted about a short game and a long game that Mike Mazik, my broker, talks about having. And the more that you pay attention and focus on your short game and your long game, the more successful you're going to become. The more excited and the more focused and the more attracted to that goal you are going to become, which becomes very, very powerful. It becomes a very powerful tool for you so that you're not getting discouraged every single day that you're working real estate. I can tell you this time last year, I was waking up wondering why I wasn't closing 10 deals a month, why I wasn't closing 5 deals a month, why I didn't have anything in my pipeline, and I'd just be lucky that day and desperate to get on a phone shift with my company so that I could get more leads and hope to God that one of them would close. And that's just not the life you want to be living. Well, how do you avoid that life? Well, what you do is you stuff your pipeline full of leads. And it's a numbers game. I referenced it yesterday, but it's so true. And you need to get yourself in front of real live people and have real life contact with people. And that's why I choose door knocking. That's why I choose open houses. Because I want to get myself in front of those people. Internet leads are great, and it's becoming a very useful lead generation source, and that's all that it is. So if you think about it, you need multiple sources of leads to generate income and have multiple sources of income. The only way to do that is to go figure out what you need to be doing. And so for me, I've got multiple sources, and that's how I'm getting my leads. So, and then I'm getting in front of them face to face and making contact with them and determining whether or not they're going to generate income or not, and going on to the next person. And then I stuff my pipeline with these people. And so, anyway, I wanted to get that out there. But a marathon sprint is huge. Okay, so it's the sprint involves working in the business. I referenced it in my other video yesterday about positioning yourself. Okay, working in the business is the sprint. You're working it every day. You're constantly bombarded with text, calls, emails, lenders, title companies, contractors. You're meeting at properties. You're doing final walkthroughs. You're constantly busy. Okay, and that is the sprint of the business. Here's the key: many people get lost and distracted from their focus during the sprint. They cannot see the finish line. And here's what I want to. I love. I don't know when I kind of came across this year, but there's two things I want to say. In the Bible, Paul, he talks about running the race that you might win the race. He doesn't say run the race that you might lose, that you may come in second, third, or that just the fact that you ran was good, even though just in fact that some people are running is good sometimes for their health. But he says in the Bible, run the race so that you might win. Now here's what I learned earlier this year that I think is just so good and so powerful. When we run the race, if we don't know where the finish line is, we tend to run slower. In fact, we might even walk. You know what? We might even just quit. You know why? Because we don't know where the finish line is. We don't know what our goal is. We can't see it. And when we can't see it and visualize it, we run slower. Well, if we're running a marathon, that's a 26 mile race. You're not going to be able to see the finish line. So when you're training, you train in increments. My sister talks about going from 1 mile to 2 miles to 3 miles to 4 miles, and she's constantly running the race before she actually runs it. And she's practicing not knowing where that finish line is, but going for it. So whatever that end result is, here's the thing. If she can just keep focused that the finish line will come after 26 miles, then she just ran the marathon. She completed it, but she's got to run the mile by mile part first. So it's easy to run a 4-minute mile for some of these Olympic athletes, but to continue a 4-minute pace over 26 miles is absolutely impossible by human nature. But if we continue to realize that we pace ourselves and we run the race and we close homes and we do real estate and we work in the business, if we do not focus on the long game, which I referenced yesterday that Mike Mazik talks about, if we do not run the long game and focus on it and get discouraged by the short game, we will never see and never run a marathon. That's why the percentage of population that actually does run marathons is very, very low in the grand scheme of things. And it's because those things, many people lose focus. They get distracted. They get deterred from their journey. They quit. Okay? And in real estate, it's about working the long game while you're sprinting the short game.